The night before my wedding, I walked down the hallway to give my husband to be a small gift and caught him quietly closing the door to my sister Anna's room. He didn't see me at first. He wasn't supposed to be anywhere near the bridesmaids' hallway. But there he was, Michael, holding the doorknob like he'd been caught stealing something. When he finally turned and saw me, his entire body tensed. And then, I heard Anna's voice from inside the room. Breathless, shaky. She said his name. Everything in me froze. I was holding a little velvet box, a pair of engraved cufflinks I wanted to surprise him with before the morning. But my hand went numb. The box fell to the carpet. Before I tell you what happened, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And if you believe in karma, hit like and subscribe, because this story will prove it. Michael stepped toward me too quickly. Laura. His voice cracked. I stepped back. The hallway felt colder. My heartbeat felt louder. I looked at the door behind him, Anna's door, and then at him. He opened his mouth again, but I lifted my hand. Don't! I could hear Anna inside the room, moving around like she was scrambling to fix something. My chest tightened. My wedding was less than 12 hours away. I had spent months imagining how tonight would feel. Butterflies, excitement, nerves. Not this. Michael reached for my arm gently, but I stepped out of reach. My voice shook. What were you doing in her room? He swallowed hard. His jaw clenched. He looked like he was searching for the right words or the least painful lie. I looked past him and knocked on Anna's door. It opened quicker than I expected. Anna stepped out, hair messy, lipstick smudged, eyes wide and terrified. She wasn't even wearing her robe, just a loose, oversized t-shirt she never wore around guests. Laura. She glanced at Michael, then at me, and her voice trembled. This isn't what it looks like. That sentence. The one every betrayed woman has heard at least once. The one that makes your chest burn and your throat close. I felt something inside me crack. It looks like my fiancé was in my sister's room, I whispered. Both of them froze. Anna shook her head quickly. Laura, wait, please. Listen. To what? I asked. To an explanation you rehearsed together? Tears filled her eyes. Michael ran a hand through his hair, pacing. He looked like a man on the edge of breaking. We weren't, he started. You weren't what? I stepped forward, my voice sharper than I meant. Weren't sneaking around? Weren't whispering behind my back? Weren't doing anything I'll regret hearing tomorrow when I'm supposed to say I do? Anna covered her mouth, her eyes shining. Michael's chest rose and fell like he was struggling to breathe. I felt suffocated. I turned and started walking down the hallway, away from both of them. Anna called after me. Laura, please. I swear. But I couldn't stop. I walked into the empty banquet hall, the lights dim, the wedding decor already set up, flowers, candles, chairs wrapped in silk. It should have been beautiful. But all I felt was sick. Behind me, footsteps approached. Soft, reluctant. Anna. She came to my side slowly, as if afraid I might run. Can you just hear me? She whispered. I didn't turn. Why was he in your room? She wiped her tears. He came to ask me something. What could he possibly need from you? I asked. The night before his wedding. She hesitated. He wanted advice. I finally turned to face her. Advice? About what? She swallowed hard. About you. I stared at her, my heart pounding in my ears. Explain. She looked down at her hands, twisting her fingers the way she always did when she was nervous. He was scared, Laura. He's been stressed with work and with the wedding, and he didn't want to worry you, so he came to me to ask how to talk to you. That doesn't explain why your voice sounded like that, I whispered. Her face flushed with shame. Because I was crying. Why? I demanded. She pressed her lips together. Then she whispered something I wasn't expecting. Because I didn't want you to marry the wrong person. The world tilted. I blinked. What? She looked up at me finally, her eyes full of guilt. I've been hiding something from you, not just tonight, for months. And Michael wanted to know if he should tell you, but I told him I would. My stomach dropped. Cold dread washed over me. Tell me what? I asked, voice barely steady. Anna took a breath that shook her entire body. Laura, I think Michael is keeping a secret from you. A big one. Everything in me tightened. What secret? She hesitated. I can't explain it here, but I didn't want you to find out tomorrow, at the altar, or years from now when it's too late. I stared at her trembling hands, at her swollen eyes. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I whispered. She looked away. Because I wasn't sure, and because I didn't want to ruin your happiness if I was wrong. And now? I asked. Now I'm sure. The weight of those words crushed the air out of my lungs. I stepped back, feeling dizzy. So you knew something was wrong and said nothing? I'm sorry, she cried. I didn't want this to happen tonight, but when he came to me, when he asked if he should confess, I panicked. I didn't know what to do. I sank onto one of the decorated chairs, the silk cool against my skin, my hands shaking uncontrollably. Michael stood in the doorway of the hall, watching us like a man standing on broken glass. His eyes were red, his shoulders tense. He walked toward us slowly. Laura, he whispered, please listen. I looked up at him, tears burning my eyes. Say it, whatever it is, say it now. He ran both hands through his hair, pacing, breathing hard. It's not what you think, he said softly. There's nothing romantic between me and Anna. I swallowed hard. Then what is it? His eyes filled. I was trying to protect you. Anna nodded, wiping her face. He was. That's what I was trying to tell you. Protect me from what? I asked, my voice breaking. They exchanged a look, the kind that said there was something bigger, something dark, something neither of them wanted to say. Then Michael stepped forward, his voice shaking. Laura, there's something you don't know about your sister. I froze. Anna's breath hitched. Michael continued. And she didn't want you to find out like this, but if I don't tell you now, you'll hear it tomorrow anyway. I stared at Anna. What is he talking about? Anna's face crumpled. She covered her mouth with both hands. She shook her head like she wanted to run. Then she whispered, barely audible, Laura, I didn't want you to know because I didn't want you to hate me. My heart stopped. Michael closed his eyes. Your sister, he whispered, wasn't crying because of me. She was crying because of what she hid from you. I whispered, tell me. Anna sobbed. I didn't want you to find out on your wedding day, but you were going to find out anyway. I grabbed her arms. Find out what? She finally said it. The words that would shatter everything I thought I knew about my own family. Laura, the man you're marrying tomorrow, isn't the only person keeping a secret. She took a breath that broke her whole body. I've been hiding something from you our entire lives. And it's about the two of us. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. Anna stood in front of me, trembling, her hands pressed to her mouth, her whole body shaking like she'd been carrying this weight her entire life. Anna, I whispered, what are you talking about? Her lips parted, but her voice broke before any words came out. Michael took a step closer, but I lifted my hand sharply. I didn't want comfort. I wanted truth. He backed away, eyes lowering, guilt heavy on his face. Just say it, I whispered to Anna. No more protecting me. No more choosing the perfect time. There is no perfect time. She nodded slowly, tears dripping onto the silk of her bridesmaid dress. Laura, she whispered, I didn't want you to find out on the night before your wedding, but I should have told you years ago. I felt my chest tighten painfully. Told me what? She swallowed hard. That the man you think is your father wasn't mine. The world tilted. I felt the floor shift under me. What? I whispered. Anna's voice shook. We don't share the same father. I closed my eyes, trying to steady myself, but her words kept crashing into me. Every memory of our childhood, every fight, every hug, every difference people pointed out, her darker hair, my lighter eyes, her silent resentment in certain moments, all of it suddenly took on a different light. I I don't understand, I whispered. Mom never. No, she said, voice cracking. She never told you. She never told anyone. Michael stepped forward again, voice soft. Anna told me months ago. She didn't want to tell you unless she had proof. Last night she finally got it. My stomach turned. Proof? What proof? Anna wiped her face, forcing herself to breathe. Letters. From my biological father. Mom hid them in a locked box in the attic. I found them by accident when I was packing for the wedding. I pressed my hand against my forehead. Everything hurt. Why didn't you come to me? I didn't know how, she cried. You were planning your wedding. You were finally happy, and I didn't want to be the person who destroyed that. Destroyed. The word hit hard. I whispered, why would it destroy anything? We're still sisters. She looked at me with a pain so old it made my breath catch. Are we? She whispered. Because Mom never treated us the same, you know that. The hallway flickered with old, buried truth. Our mother had always been stricter with Anna, always compared her to me, always quietly favored me in ways I didn't ask for and didn't understand. But to hear it confirmed like this, to hear that our different treatment had roots in something deeper, it felt like a knife twisting inside me. And Mom, Anna whispered. Mom knew. She knew everything, and she hid it because she wanted us to seem perfect. I sank into the nearest chair, my hands shaking. This wasn't betrayal between lovers. This was betrayal inside my own blood. Okay, I finally managed, though my voice barely existed. Why would Michael be involved? Why did he come to your room? Anna wiped her eyes again, steadier now. Because he heard something from your mother. I froze. From Mom? Anna nodded. Mom told him something she didn't tell you, something about our family and about tomorrow. My heart stopped. Tomorrow? Anna looked at Michael. He nodded, encouraging her silently. My stomach twisted. Tell me, I whispered. Now. She held my gaze for a long moment before finally speaking. Mom told Michael not to marry you unless he understood what he was stepping into. My entire body went cold. What does that mean? I demanded. Stepping into what? Anna closed her eyes, took a trembling breath, and whispered something I never expected to hear. There's a medical condition in our family. One Mom has, one her mother had, one I have, and one she kept secret from you because she didn't want it to ruin your chances. I stared at her, my pulse loud in my ears. A condition? Anna nodded. A real, genetic condition, she whispered. One that only affects daughters, one that gets worse with stress. One Mom didn't want you to know because she wanted your life to look perfect. Michael finally stepped forward, his voice soft but shaking. I didn't go into her room for anything wrong. I went there because your mother cornered me earlier. She told me Anna had the condition, and then she told me you might have it too. I looked between them, breath shallow. What condition? Anna wiped her face, her voice barely there. Laura, it's early onset autoimmune deterioration. It attacks your internal system slowly, silently. Mine started showing symptoms after high school. Mom hid it. Doctor visits, pills, everything. My heart stopped. I stared at her. No, I whispered. I would have known. I would have seen something. You were applying for college, Anna said quietly. You were getting scholarships, building your life. Mom didn't want anything to jeopardize that, so she hid mine and hoped you wouldn't have it. Tears blurred my vision. Do I? I whispered. Anna looked at me with eyes full of terror. We don't know. My chest constricted. And Mom told Michael? Anna nodded. She told him he needed to be absolutely sure he wanted a life with someone who might get sick. I staggered backward. My own mother, telling my fiancé to reconsider marrying me, the night before my wedding. My voice came out broken. So, Mom basically told him not to marry me? Michael stepped closer, eyes wet. No, she tried, but I told her it didn't matter. I told her I loved you anyway. I love you now. I always will. He looked at Anna, but I needed to understand the condition, understand what Anna went through, so I asked her if we could talk privately. Anna nodded, tears dripping again. We weren't hiding anything romantic. We were hiding something terrifying. I pressed my hand to my mouth. The hallway blurred. Anna whispered, "Laura, you're not sick. We don't know if you ever will be. But I didn't want you to walk into a marriage tomorrow without knowing who you really are and what runs in our blood." Everything inside me twisted painfully. I whispered, "I don't know what hurts more, that Mom hid it or that you did." Anna collapsed into tears. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Michael knelt in front of me, taking my shaking hands. "I'm marrying you tomorrow," he whispered. "No matter what, but I didn't want to lie to you. Not about this, not about your health. That's why we were in her room. I needed the truth from her, because your mother wouldn't give me all of it." I closed my eyes. This wasn't betrayal of romance. This was betrayal of trust, of family, of the people who were supposed to love me the most. Anna whispered, "Please don't hate me. I was trying to protect you." I shook my head slowly. "I don't hate you," I whispered. "But I'm not ready to forgive Mom." Michael squeezed my hands. "We tell her tonight," he whispered. "Together. No more secrets." I took a deep breath. "Tonight," I whispered, "I want answers." And I meant it. Because 12 hours before my wedding, I wasn't sure if I was walking down the aisle as a bride, or as a daughter finally learning who she really was. I felt numb as we walked down the long hallway toward the suite where my mother was staying. My mind replayed everything Anna said, the condition, the secrets, the lies, the hidden letters, the guilt she carried for years. But nothing cut deeper than knowing my own mother warned my fiancé, warned him not to marry me. As if I were some burden, as if I were defective. Michael held my hand gently. Anna walked behind us, her steps slow and hesitant. When we reached the door, I froze. "Are you sure?" Anna whispered. I nodded. "I'm done being the last to know in my own family." Michael squeezed my hand. "No matter what she says, you are not alone." Those words steadied me enough to knock. My mother opened the door almost immediately, her makeup perfect, her hair pinned neatly like she'd been preparing to face me. "Laura," she said softly, voice strained, "I knew you'd come." But I didn't step inside. I didn't hug her. I didn't soften. My voice came out steady in a way I didn't expect. "We need to talk." She inhaled shakily and opened the door wider. When I stepped in, I noticed the room looked untouched. Bed made, luggage closed, a cup of tea on the table barely sipped. As if she'd been pacing, waiting for this moment. Michael and Anna stood behind me, silent. My mother clasped her hands together. "I assume your sister told you." I stared at her. "She told me about the condition, and about the letters, and about you telling Michael not to marry me." Her eyes closed. "Laura, it wasn't like that." "Then explain it," I said harshly, "because I'm done guessing." She opened her eyes again, and for the first time in my life, I saw fear. Not anger. Not disappointment. Fear. "Sit," she whispered. "No," I said. "Talk." Her shoulders sagged like the weight of decades had finally become too heavy to carry. "Laura," she whispered, "I didn't tell you because I wanted you to have a normal life, a free life, one without fear of what might happen." I shook my head. "Mom, hiding things is not protecting, it's lying." She flinched. Then she sat down on the edge of the bed, her hands trembling in her lap. "It started with my own mother," she whispered. "She had the condition. She hid it until it nearly killed her. Back then, nobody understood it. They called it weakness, drama, laziness." She swallowed. "When Anna was born, she showed symptoms early, and I couldn't let history repeat." Anna inhaled sharply behind me, silent tears falling. Mom continued, "So I did everything I could, doctors, specialists, private treatments, and I hid it from you because you were strong, healthy, bright. I didn't want you growing up with fear. I didn't want you looking at yourself waiting for something to break." "Mom," I whispered, I deserve to know. She nodded, tears finally falling. You did, and I was wrong. Those words, I had waited my entire life to hear that tone from her. Real remorse. Not control. Not superiority. Just truth. She continued softly. But the older you got, the more perfect you became. Scholarships, internships, friends, a life so full of hope. I didn't want to stain it with our family's illness. Anna stepped forward. You didn't protect her, she whispered. You isolated me. Mom sobbed. I know, and I hate myself for it. I closed my eyes. I never wanted this pain, not for any of us. But it was too late. The truth was out, and the damage was real. And Michael? I asked. Why tell him before me? Mom wiped her face with shaking hands. Because he deserves to know what he's stepping into. Marriage is a lifetime. Illness can change everything. Michael stepped forward, voice steady but firm. I chose her. I wasn't cornered into this marriage. And you should have told her, not me. Mom looked at him with guilt. I thought if you had doubts, it would be better for her to be hurt now than later. My voice cracked. You thought you were sparing me by telling my fiancé I might be sick? She folded into herself. It was desperate and wrong. I see that now. I panicked. I didn't want you to live a life like mine. The room felt smaller, heavier, years of silence breaking all at once. Then Mom whispered something I wasn't prepared for. Your father knew. I froze. Anna's breath hitched. Michael stared. What do you mean? I asked slowly. He knew Anna wasn't his, Mom whispered, from the beginning. My heart slammed against my ribs. He found the letters, she continued. He confronted me, but he stayed. He raised both of you, but he made me promise to never tell you unless you showed symptoms. Why? I whispered. Because he loved you, she cried. Both of you. He didn't want your identity tied to illness or betrayal. The ache in my chest deepened. So you kept the secret, I whispered. Even when he died. She nodded. Then I asked the question that had burned in me since the hallway. Do I have it? Mom looked me directly in the eyes, her voice barely a breath. We don't know. The world spun. Michael grabbed my hand. Anna wrapped her arm around me. But my mind raced. Mom, when was the last time I was tested? She hesitated. Never, she whispered. We never tested you. Anger flared inside me. You let me grow up ignorant, vulnerable, clueless. Her tears spilled down her cheeks. I thought you were safe. I thought no symptoms meant no condition. I shook my head, stepping back. I didn't want to hear more. Not tonight. Not hours before my wedding. Michael saw my breathing change and stepped closer. We can test tomorrow, together, after the ceremony. I looked at him. Really looked. Michael, do you still want to marry me tomorrow? Knowing everything? Knowing I might get sick someday? Knowing my mother tried to warn you? His answer was immediate, unwavering. I want you, he whispered. Not your health, not your bloodline, not your past. You. Anna squeezed my arm. Mom sobbed. And for a moment, the three of us, me, my sister, and my fiancé, stood in the center of a truth that hurt, but finally set us free. I turned back to Mom. I forgive you, I whispered. But I'm not okay. Not yet. She nodded. She understood. We left her suite quietly. But as we walked down the hallway toward our rooms, I whispered something to Michael I had never imagined saying the night before my wedding. I don't know if I can walk down the aisle tomorrow. He stopped. Anna stopped. My heart thudded painfully. Not unless I know the whole truth, I whispered. Not unless I know what's inside my own blood. Michael took my hands, eyes fierce with love. Then we find out tonight, he whispered. Before the sun comes up. My breath hitched. Because in a few hours, the test results would change everything. My future. My wedding. My entire identity. And I didn't know if I was ready for any of it. The night outside felt colder than it should have. Not the air, the silence. The heaviness. The way everything felt heavy with truth and fear. Anna walked with us down the empty hotel corridor, clutching her arms. Michael held my hand as if he could feel my pulse pounding through my fingers. "Are you sure you want to do this tonight?" Anna whispered. Her voice cracked with worry. I swallowed. "If I don't, I'll be walking down the aisle tomorrow with a question clawing inside my chest." Anna nodded. "I get it." Michael led us toward the parking garage. His cousin Ethan was a doctor working the night shift at a nearby clinic. He had agreed without hesitation to run a confidential test immediately. My stomach twisted harder with every step. We reached the car. Michael opened the passenger door for me, brushing my arm gently. "I'm here," he whispered. I nodded, but my heart was racing. What if I had the condition? What if tomorrow wasn't a wedding? What if it became something else? Something darker, heavier, scarier? Anna slid into the back seat. She looked fragile in a way I'd never seen. For years, she'd lived with something she hadn't asked for. And now, I might be stepping into the same shadow. The drive to the clinic was quiet, only the sound of the tires on the road and my shaky breaths in the silence. When we arrived, Ethan met us at the side entrance, still in his scrubs. "Laura," he whispered gently, "let's get you inside." His tone wasn't clinical. It was human. We followed him through a dim hallway to a small exam room. Ethan looked at me carefully. "I know this is scary, but the test is straightforward, quick, and you'll have results within an hour." An hour. 60 minutes. 60 minutes that could rewrite my entire life. I nodded, unable to speak. Anna squeezed my hand. "You're not alone." Michael kissed my forehead. "Whatever happens, I still want to marry you tomorrow." Those words made my throat ache. I sat on the exam table as Ethan took a small blood sample, only a few vials, and disappeared down the hall to run the analysis. When the door closed, the silence in the room felt like a second heartbeat. Anna sat on the rolling stool, twisting her fingers anxiously. Michael stood near the window, staring out into the dark parking lot. After a long moment, he spoke quietly. "I'm sorry." I looked up, startled. "For what?" He turned toward me, guilt in his eyes. "For listening to your mother before listening to you. For going to Anna instead of coming to you. For letting fear get inside my head." My chest tightened. I shook my head. "You were scared," I whispered. "People do confusing things when they're scared." "But that's not an excuse," he said, stepping closer. "You deserved honesty, not secrets, not half-truths." Anna looked down at the floor. "Michael was trying to protect you. You both were." Michael turned to her, his voice soft. "I'm sorry you had to carry this alone." Anna wiped her eyes, her voice trembling. "I didn't want to be the reason your engagement fell apart." I reached out and grabbed her hand. "You weren't," I whispered. "Secrets were." She nodded, tears spilling again. The next 40 minutes felt like an eternity. I thought about tomorrow, the vows, the aisle, the flowers, the photographs. Would all that still happen? Would I still be smiling? Or would my life pivot in a way I wasn't prepared for? Would Michael still hold my hand with that same steady confidence? Would I still be able to look at my mother without anger burning through me? The door opened. Ethan stepped inside slowly, a man who knew the weight of news before delivering it. Michael took my hand. Anna stood up, breath held. I felt everything inside me tighten like a fist. Ethan looked directly at me. "Laura." His voice was gentle, too gentle. My heart dropped. He sat on the chair across from me. "We ran the test twice to be certain." My breath shook. "You do not have the condition." The air left my lungs in a rush. Michael's hand squeezed mine. Anna sobbed with relief. But Ethan wasn't finished. He cleared his throat. "But there's something else." I froze. My relief evaporated. "What do you mean?" I whispered. He hesitated, the kind of hesitate doctors only do when the news is delicate. "We found markers in your blood that suggest something Significant. Michael stepped closer. Tell us. Ethan turned to me. Laura, you're pregnant. The world spun. Pregnant. I stared at him, not even blinking. Pregnant? I repeated, barely breathing. He nodded gently. About 4 weeks. Anna gasped, covering her mouth. Michael's eyes filled instantly with tears. Not fear, not shock, but awe. Laura, he whispered, touching my cheek. We're... I felt tears well in my eyes. Pregnant. My wedding was tomorrow. My life was about to begin with Michael. And inside me was a life we didn't even know we had started. But the mix of emotions hit fast: joy, fear, confusion, disbelief. Anna wiped her cheeks. You're going to be a mom. Her voice trembled, but it was full of happiness, pure, genuine happiness. Ethan continued gently. Your test was clean, but this is something you need to know before tomorrow. Michael knelt in front of me, cupping my face. I don't care what anyone said, he whispered. I want to marry you even more now. I want our family, all of it. My tears fell freely now. Anna hugged me tightly from behind. This is beautiful, she whispered, not something to fear. But the moment was bittersweet. Because this meant Mom knew the condition didn't affect me, or she suspected it, and still made decisions out of fear. Fear she passed to Anna. Fear she almost handed to me. And it also meant she didn't mention the possibility that I might already be carrying my future, because her obsession with avoiding imperfection blinded her to everything real. Michael kissed my forehead. Say the word, and we marry tomorrow. I took a breath that felt like opening a new chapter. I want to marry you, I whispered. But I want to tell Mom myself. Anna took my hand. We'll go together. No, I said softly. This one is mine. Michael nodded. We'll wait outside. I walked back into the hotel room alone, my mother sitting there with tissues in her hands, like she had sensed something. When she saw my face, she stood quickly. Laura, I don't have the condition, I said quietly, but I'm pregnant. She froze. Her hands shook. Oh my God! I stepped closer. Tomorrow, I'm marrying Michael. Not because everything is perfect, but because everything is real. Her lips trembled. And the next time you feel the urge to hide something from me, remember tonight. Her legs buckled slightly, and she reached for the armchair behind her. Are you happy? She whispered. I nodded slowly. I'm scared, but I'm happy. She covered her face and sobbed. Not out of disappointment, but relief, regret. Love she didn't know how to give correctly. I placed my hand on her shoulder. Tomorrow, let's start over. She looked up at me, eyes red. I would love that. When I walked back to Michael and Anna, I felt something I hadn't felt all night. Peace. Not because everything was fixed, but because everything was finally honest. Michael opened his arms. Ready for tomorrow? I smiled through tears. Yes, I whispered, ready for everything.